Sorry, guys. Can you hear me? Brendan, what's going on, man? So I was in the middle of fixing a toilet and I was like, you know what? I can fix the toilet before I have to go live. And then, of course, it turns out that it wasn't quite that easy. So here we are, running a little bit behind, a few minutes behind. Sorry, guys. My typical Saturday, or not necessarily Saturday, but kind of my live stream regularity of being a few minutes late. What's going on? Hoff Van Dam, good to see you. Brendan, thanks for stopping in, guys. I just figured, hey, why not? My wife has got the kids pre-hot tub card talk, pre-fixing the toilet, apparently. I thought that I was going to have it done. It's not refilling on the top, so I have to just like change out a piece. I thought maybe I could just like flush it out and we're all good, but might not be quite that easy. I had everything done, just trying to get the thing back on. It was doing some weird locking up thing. So, yep, toilet's not fixed, and so that's where we're at. You are also fixing a toilet? Yeah, there's nothing more scary than your daughter walking in saying like, hey, my toilet is not flushing. And then my first thought is like, is there water on the floor? Is there water anywhere? You know, like, yeah, I've got the, it's going to be toilet talk / card talk today. So yeah, I've got a Flowmaster 400, but here's the thing is I changed it out maybe like 10 months ago, and it has like a 5 or 10 year warranty or something like that. It's not supposed to, after like less than a year, not be working right. So I think that there might just be like some debris or something. So I flushed it out, and now I was just having trouble like putting it all back together, whatever. We're here. I'm focused. How are we doing, guys? I think the flapper thing was fine. Yeah, Raymond, I think that the actual like flapper valve thingy is fine. I think we're okay. Right out of the gate, we're in the toilet. Exactly. What's going on, Global Sports Card Investor? Alex, good to see you, man. How are things down under? The voice of an angel. Yeah. I've just been yelling at my toilet for the last 20 minutes. Like, what the hell? What's going on? Of course, nobody's here, so I can yell about it. I can yell at it. I can get upset. And then I'm like, you know what? I need to gather myself and get on my live stream. Hard water related. Just placed on my filters and toilet components because of the hard water buildup that failed. I'll look into that, Steven. That's a good takeaway. I'm trying to fix it without having to call a plumber. You know, like I don't want to spend $200 on a $5 part or whatever. Yeah. Cards are in the toilet. Crypto's in the toilet. Equities are dropping. What is Leafs announcement? Oh my God, I missed that. What's Leafs announcement, JW? Freezing in Australia. Interesting. I figure, and granted, I've never been there, so I don't know what the weather is like. Yeah. Yeah. Now, this is my younger daughter's toilet, not my teenage daughter's toilet. If it was that toilet, then we'd be having a whole nother conversation. Mark, how you doing? Got an 89 MJ Hoops 4th year card this morning. Lost a good friend who was a Marine sniper yesterday morning. Oh, that sucks. Sorry to hear that, Mark. That sucks. I love that 89 Hoops MJ card. I remember it as a kid. That was a big time card. I was 8 in 1989, and I just remember at the card shop those 89 Hoops MJ and Larry Bird. I remember seeing those. Funny, like no graded cards obviously back then, so it's just all raw stuff. Doesn't it kind of feel like a good buying time, Steven? I tend to agree. I mean, like with anything, you never know when, the best time is as far as prices go. There's a lot of people that still feel like, and not even just in cards, but just collectibles in general, and then also in just assets, that there's still room to fall. I'm curious just to kind of see how that is. But I think, though, I agree. It is refreshing that stuff is actually, it feels like there's a lot of stuff that is priced right, or just priced in like a decent way to where it's affordable. It doesn't feel inflated, a lot of the stuff. It feels like it's starting to get back to normal a little bit. Dustin's waiting for more drops to just buy Brad out and get a new co-host. Hey, Hey, and you're still running his newsletter. God bless you, David. You're keeping him going. Bless you, man. Yeah, I might have to I need to have maybe a backup host or something. I need to work on that. Brad's Brad's card buys. I don't know what's gonna happen with those. He's probably just gonna have to do some sort. It'll be like those like 90s Beanie Baby. Like, have you seen, like, there's a really funny meme where it's like divorce court in the 90s and it's people like separating Beanie Babies out. That's gonna be Brad, like with his card collection. He's gonna be selling it all for 10 cents on the dollar. Young man's birthday. So been at Kmart buying up Pokemon. I'm glad to hear that Kmart's still going in Australia, Alex, because it's pretty much vanished here. I think there's only a handful of Kmart's. I could be wrong on that are actually open. They've totally gone away. It's like Toys R Us. I heard that Toys R Us stores are actually making a little bit of a comeback. I would like to see that for nostalgia's sake. Are we talking about the toilet thing, Will? Yeah. Okay. Good to hear, Brendan. Good to hear. That is good. Hope you get your card soon. No, I would agree with this opening stuff. I don't feel like my vintage is dropping. I still feel it's more market correction than cards tanking. Yeah, yeah. It's not necessarily tanking. It's not a tank. I mean, more of a, if you're seeing tanking, it's more on the modern side or ultra modern side. But vintage stuff, it would be really odd to see vintage stuff just completely tank. And really, that's the stuff that has held up fairly well from what I've seen. Kmart massive in New Zealand. Okay, well, that's interesting. Yeah, the whole toilet thing is annoying. Will, it's annoying, but we'll figure it out. Brad irreplaceable for, yeah, I guess he's kind of he's a quirky dude. There's not too many other card guys in the space that are quite like Brad, so it's fun for the media stuff for sure. Modern is hard to move, and I've been getting rid of most of it. Yeah, it's kind of like, and actually somebody had just commented on a video that they're having a lot of fun speculating on baseball prospects. So I guess if you're buying, if you're modern is baseball prospect stuff where you're just getting in and really studying minor leaguers and kind of betting on those horses, I could see if you're a big baseball person that would be fun. And I know a lot of those like first Bowman autos for some of these guys are not expensive. They're very inexpensive, but if you pick the right one, then they can go up in value a lot, obviously. So yeah, I could see that. I could see that being fun. I think the one thing that's kind of odd though is if we're looking at like NBA playoffs, right now, it's so exciting. I haven't been tracking a lot of the super high end like Jason Tatum's and the Giannis and the Bookers and all that, but I haven't necessarily seen it. Maybe I missed it. You guys tell me if I'm wrong, but I just haven't seen any sort of big movement on NBA. Like with teams doing well. And maybe if, I don't know, Celtics go to the finals or Giannis goes to another finals or whatever it is, that at that point there's more of a bump like later on in the playoffs, but I just haven't seen it quite yet. But again, maybe I'm missing it. Golden State, yeah. So the thing that would be really interesting is if I just can't believe the Mavs are hanging in there with the Suns. So if the Mavs get by the Suns and then they've got to play Golden State, I mean, I would assume that Golden State would rather play the Mavs than play the Suns. So I think if the Mavs get by the Suns, as much as I'd like to see Luka go to the finals, I do think Golden State gets by the Mavs just because Golden State's just, they're tough. They've been there before. But if it's the Suns versus the Warriors, that'll be a war. That'll be a war for sure. So I don't know, man. What do you think, Mark? A new 54 Jackie. Love it. I need to get some Jackie Robinson stuff. I need to get some. You know what? Every time I keep saying it, though, I'm like, you know what? It feels like it's expensive, but it's probably never really, it's like, when is it ever going to be rock bottom again? Probably never, So at some point, I'll probably have to get into some Jackie Robinson stuff and just pay kind of a premium for it. Just is what it is. Yeah. Yeah. The low end in the middle. Well, and the other thing too is what's considered, if we're talking about middle and high end, there is a ton of cards that are right on this border of middle and high end. I mean, a lot of people would say like, oh, high end is like Jordan green PMGs and, Mantle 52 tops and Honus Wagner. That's the high end. And then other people would say, oh, well, no, I mean, there's also like, Kobe Bryant patch autos and stuff fall into high end as well. It kind of depends on what you mean by that. But I do think that there's been a lot of kind of cards that should have been in the middle tier that are pricing in that higher end bucket. And I think that that's going to be maybe something that, it's something that I'm watching for sure. For sure. Ryan McClanahan, what's going on, man? I hope that you're feeling better. I know you were under the weather there for a little bit. Thanks for joining me on a Saturday afternoon. You guys have way better things to do. You could be outside, or maybe you are outside listening or watching. But I appreciate you stopping by. I'll go on for maybe an hour. Nothing crazy. Let's see here. Can you hear me okay? I just went. Okay, I just missed my. Okay, there we go. I think we are good. Top 3 favorite 90s TV shows. Man, there's a lot that I like in the 90s. God. Simpsons would be one. In Living Color is probably top 3. When I was a kid, I mean, like Saved by the Bell, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. It's kind of too bad because Will Smith is now. I'm not really much of a fan of Will Smith at this point. I don't like after his recent little debacle there. So it just makes me look at Fresh Prince of Bel-Air in a different way. But that show during its time was amazing. But in Living Color with Jim Carrey kind of getting his start, can't beat it. The Simpsons would be in there too. What would be another one that would be up there in the top 3? I know there's probably some obvious ones that I'm missing. I wouldn't put like Beverly Hills 90210 in top 3. I feel like I'm missing some obvious ones. I don't know. I just named off a few. You guys throw it. Married with Children. There it is. There's one. Married with Children is kind of what, like late 80s, 90s, but definitely in the 90s for sure. Married with Children is an obvious one. Let me see. I missed a couple of comments. One of these guys is winning a title this year. Tatum, Giannis, Butler, Paul, and Booker. Yeah, this is actually a really good point because when you think about these guys, for all of these guys, this is huge for their legacy. You can make kind of an argument that it matters for all of them. I mean, Steph and Clay and Draymond, they've all been there and they've won before, but it's just adding another title onto the belt. And then kind of course, then you're going to have kind of Steph Curry GOAT talk, which I know no one's going to want to talk about him in that way. Oh, he's not good enough. He shouldn't be considered in the same breath as LeBron, but if he wins another title and if he's able to just somehow maybe win a couple more titles, then it becomes very interesting. To be fair, Steph Curry and LeBron are very different players. But to me, Steph Curry is the greatest shooter of all time. I don't think that anyone is going to be able to take that away from him. I don't think anyone's ever going to break his 3-point records. I just don't see it. No baseball except vintage, modern, mostly football and basketball. Yeah. Yeah, for me, for football, I love vintage football stuff. I also love 80s football stuff. I love football stuff in general. But then I'm also a big New Orleans Saints fan, so I'm a Drew Brees PC guy, and Drew Brees has got so many cool cards. I could focus just on Brees and I would be busy, just collecting Brees. I have a lot of Tom Brady stuff too. Junk rookie era. Steph shooting the lights out. Yeah. Oh, of course they have a shot. They have more than a shot. Absolutely. They're a pretty loaded team. I mean, they have good young players too. I mean, just overall a good team, especially when you see like Clay really hasn't played that well up until I know he had a big game, this last game, but he struggled really. I know he's coming off injury, but it's not like Clay's been just lighting it up all over the place consistently. Oh, I don't know who you're talking about here opening stuff. Hey, Phil, how you doing? Middle is non-rookies. What's up, CV Sports Cards? Good to see you. Yeah, thanks for joining in on a Saturday. I know this is kind of like, spur of the moment. It was kind of like my wife was like, hey, I'm going to be gone with the kids for a little bit. I was like, well, maybe I'll just jump on a live. I'll fix this toilet real quick, and then I'll jump on a live stream. Didn't fix the toilet. Late for the live stream. There we go. KD, Kevin Durant, you think he is? Alex? Yeah, I mean, he's always going to be one of the all-time great scorers. So, I haven't been following his card market here recently, but you can't take that away from him. He's always going to be probably top 10 all-time scorer in the NBA. Saturday morning cartoon supplement. Nice. Yeah, Married with Children, Wonder Years, another good one. Baywatch. Yep. TGIF. I used to watch, X-Files. You guys just actually nailed a ton of them. I remember the Are You Afraid of the Dark? Like the TGIF lineup. The Full House, Are You Afraid of the Dark? There was all sorts of cool stuff. Yeah, Cosby Show before Cosby, did the stuff, allegedly or whatever. X-Files. X-Files is such a classic. Knight Rider. Yep. Knight Rider kind of makes me think 80s though. But yes, yeah, absolutely. 90210. Dub Nation, Fat Albert. That was a funny show. I remember that. Interesting. Yeah, I actually just got, you mentioned like Auto Spidey. That's on the Marvel side. I'm not buying tons and tons of different Marvel stuff. I've got a complete 90 Impel set, but I've also been buying these like Fleer Retro insert autos. They're not easy to find, but I've been picking these up. Yeah, some Marvel stuff here and there. Not a ton. But yeah, definitely. I'm on IG at Sports Card Dad opening stuff. And then I'm also on Twitter. You can reach out to me either place. Would probably be the easiest way to reach me. Yep, the Joker won MVP back-to-back. He's scary good. He's scary good. I know there was a bunch of talk about him or Embiid and, and just also his team didn't do anything in the playoffs and this and that. But it's hard to argue against it, though. I mean, he's legit. He's awesome. And he's got his brothers in the stands scaring the hell out of everybody. So there's that. You got a Breeze Super Bowl ticket? You actually went to that? Was it in my? Oh yeah, it was in Miami. That 2009 Super Bowl win. Interesting. Let me know if you're ever looking to offload that opening stuff. That would be another thing that I'm interested in. I don't have one ticket. I don't collect tickets at all, but I've actually been searching for something like, a Saints Super Bowl ticket. So Swamp Donkey Off Grid. I love that name. I don't really go for much of the newer rookie QBs. A couple of years ago, I got in on Baker Mayfield stuff, kind of on that, he had like his cards came out, they were expensive. And then he had that off year with Kitchens as the coach. And then his prices went way down. I bought a bunch of stuff and then I've sold off, quite a bit of that. So I've kind of played a little bit of the current QB game, but I've also lost on a bunch of that. I've got like Mason Rudolph rookies. I've got Will Greer. I've got Ryan Finley rookies. I just saw that. Oh, I've got Stidham. Stidham was just traded to the Raiders. So that's kind of interesting. So I've tried to speculate on the rookie quarterback stuff, and it's largely backfired for me. But hey, it's fun though. I enjoy that. Here's my problem with rookie QBs is that there's so much young QB talent in the NFL right now that I just feel like you're just it's like throwing darts and just hoping, because really any of these guys could do well and any of these teams could have injuries. Any of these teams could be good. The talent gap in the NFL is so tight that it's hard for me to just go after, the young QBs. It's just tough. I'd rather just buy Tom Brady stuff or Drew Brees, because that's my PC guy. So, okay, it's 6:30 a.m. in Australia. Nice. All right. Yeah. YouTube. I know I kind of do the same sort of stuff. I just kind of have like YouTube, like live streams on in the background. I rewatch a lot of stuff while I'm working. Yes. I'm interested. Opening stuff. 2013 retro. Yep. I'm interested. Definitely reach out to me on Instagram or on Twitter. I would appreciate it. Goosebumps. Yeah. Oh, there was one? That's interesting. I didn't know that. The olds. What's really funny is I showed my kids the old Goosebumps and they were freaked. Like the new Goosebumps is so tame. All the new stuff, like the new Are You Afraid of the Dark, is like so tame. If you look back, those 90s shows were scary. X-Files, scary compared to the stuff they have today. Big sci-fi nerd, love Star Trek. Yeah, Star Trek: The Next Generation. I remember watching that. I didn't watch it religiously, but I definitely did watch it. Just going to sit on all my cards and yeah, watch the show. Yeah. I'm trying to honestly, I'm just trying to figure out where I want to. I'm just trying to pick where do I want to go? Do I want to go? And it's really hard because a lot of stuff is in the wheelhouse, to where it's like, okay, do I want to go vintage football? Do I want to pick up some of the more like rare Marvel stuff that I've been getting, or go and basketball? I'm or like vintage baseball. We talked about, I'd like to get more into vintage baseball, but again, vintage baseball has been pretty hot, all in all. Honeymoon with ex-wife, and yes, I would, but it's not meant by any means. Which card is this? Opening stuff. Is this which one are we talking about? Is it the Spider-Man auto or is it something? Oh, it's the ticket. The ticket. I'm not even worried about if it's mint or not. Yeah, I don't even care about that really. Purple Doctor Strange PMG. Nice. Is that the 2017? I think that's the 17, right? The purple ones. The NASCAR race that Earnhardt died in long term. Yeah, that is. Is that available? Do you have one of those decks? Quantum Leap, underrated, great sci-fi series too. Oh, what's the one that's really, really out there? Oh my gosh, I'm just drawing a blank on it. It's on HBO Max right now. Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks. That's like sci-fi meets like I don't know what. Weird. Just weird. But it was actually pretty good. Like some of it's good and some of it's just going way out there. Way out there. I've heard, yeah. Hey man, good to see you, Kryptonite. Here's the thing is I'm down on my thoughts on player performance greatly impacting prices. So I know I'm sounding like a Debbie Downer. Not to say that it wouldn't have any sort of effect. It's just, I guess my question, and I guess this is a good experiment, is whoever wins, I want to see what happens with pricing in the near term and then over 3 months, 6 months. Does it have, a huge effect? Because last year I'm thinking about Giannis getting his first title. And I had some Giannis rookies, and it's not as if they moved the same way they did, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, when it was really, really red hot. So that's the thing that I would want to watch. Yeah, I mean, are Jimmy Butler rookie cards going to go way up? I don't really know, but I've been down on kind of the player performance for current players making a humongous impact. They have to have a good fan base, I think, and I think there's a lot of moving parts with it. I don't think it's as easy as a year ago, 18 months ago, where it was like, oh, these teams are winning based on performance, prices, there's price movement. I just don't know. Or let me also rephrase, is there any lasting price movement? So you might have kind of like a hiccup, where it's like, oh, where there's like big price movement. And then and then 3 days later, it's back to where it was, or a week later, 2 weeks. That's the stuff that is kind of like, I want to watch and see. And it's not that I'm not bullish. It's just that I've said it before. In the near term, I guess I'm probably a little bit bearish on collectibles pricing, but over the long term, I'm bullish on it. So but it has more to do with the overall economy than it does anything to do with the hobby or anything going on with that. Primarily collect vintage, but have gone after young stars and base rated rookies. Thanks for your response. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the rated rookie logo, that takes you back. It takes me back too, like, 80s baseball. I've got a Bo Jackson rated rookie baseball Royals, just because that was from my childhood. Yeah, the rated rookie, they're smart to have that going with Optic, Don Russ, to keep that going, because there's definitely people our age, that are into it. Oh, I'm glad that you asked, Ed. I am so fired up. I am so fired up about these Saints. It's so funny. Like Sean Payton leaves, and all of a sudden we have like the best wide receiver core we've had in forever. I don't know. It's been a while since we've had as much excitement in that, for that unit as we do right now with Landry, adding Landry. It's pretty cool. I guess it kind of means that there's no real excuses for Jameis. Jameis will have weapons. Even at tight end, we've got Taysom Hill that's going to play tight end, and he's going to do kind of his gadget stuff. So he's going to be a weapon. They'll use him 10 or 15 times a game, dozen touches a game type thing. But that's really where he shines, because catches the defense off guard. Now we've got, assuming Michael Thomas is healthy, it's going to be interesting. And then the rookie Olave will be the burner. He's going to be the speed guy. And then we also have Deontay Harris, or actually he changed his name. What did he change it to? Deontay. Oh, anyway. But anyway, we have the speedster. That's also our punt return guy that is also a speed guy. It's going to be interesting. As long as Kamara isn't out for an extended period of time. He has, I think, a assault charge pending from Las Vegas in the offseason. If we can survive that, I think that we're going to be okay. All right, Retro Auto Ultimate Spider-Man 9.5 SGC. Okay, so it's probably all right. So it's the regular. Yeah, it's not the Impel insert one, but that's okay. Yeah, reach out to me. I'd like to see it and kind of get a feel for what you're looking for and all that. At least get a look at it. You like the Broncos, huh? Should make the playoffs with Russell Wilson. They're just in a beast of a division. I think that's the only issue there. In a normal circumstance, I would say, yeah, but their division is absolutely brutal. I mean, what's the worst team in that division? Is it the Raiders? Are the Raiders the worst team in that division? Or are the Broncos the worst team in that division? Probably not. But I guess what, Jerry Jeudy, didn't he get arrested? So that could have an impact. I don't know. I mean, all those teams are really good. So that's going to be brutal. Quantum Leap. Yeah, I thought they did a reboot for Quantum Leap. Maybe not. Yeah, if anybody comes across, that Earnhardt ticket, that would be big. But I assume somebody would be asking a lot for it. I would just assume. Which rumor, David? That I need a new host for Off-Centered other than Brad? Are you still going to run his newsletter? Are you still running it? Superstars are made in the playoffs. Yeah. It's kind of, I mean, it would be a huge deal, I think, for like Giannis, just because he's already won one. Steph has already won. Clay has already won. So those guys are kind of broadening out their legacy, their legend, if you will. And so if Giannis can win multiple titles, that will be a big deal. That'll be a big deal. He's still young, still a young guy. What's Giannis, 28 or something? 28, 29? Yeah, it'll be really, really interesting. What's up, EL? Good to see you. Is that an NFT of something? Did you build that or did you buy it, or what is that thing? Yeah, the Broncos are the worst, and arguably, and they have Russell Wilson as their quarterback. I mean, it's crazy. Oh, the rumor about the reboot. Yeah. Yeah, you'll still be running it, and Brad will have his name on it. Unbelievable. Yeah, you're a big Heat fan. I remember that. Yeah, Jimmy Butler. I mean, that would be big. The only thing with cards with the Heat too, and I'm sure you probably heard this before. It's not anything that I'm just coming up with, but there's either like there's just too many guys that are scoring. It's like, is it Jimmy Butler? Is it Hero? Is it Bam? Like, who gets the love from the cardboard side? Or maybe all of them do, or maybe none of them do. I don't know. It's not like like the Bucks when you got Giannis, that's the main superstar. The Heat are just a well-rounded team, really, really good, well-rounded team. So yeah, I don't know. Who's going to win tomorrow between the do you think the Bucks or the Celtics are going to win? And do you think that Luka and the Mavs are going to knock off the Suns? That would be massive. I'm going to watch both those games, which I don't remember the last time I've watched back-to-back NBA games. I'm going to probably spend 5-6 hours watching NBA tomorrow. My wife's going to hate me for it, but I can't not watch. These are really kind of the main games for me. I mean, like I'm pulling for Luka and the Mavs because no one's expecting the Mavs to win. It's kind of like one of those deals where no one expects them to do anything. Like it's like, okay, they're doing some good stuff in the regular season, but once they get to the playoffs, they're going to get bounced. And I mean, they're hanging in, they're hanging on by a thread. And I always pull for kind of the young guys. I'm really happy that it's not LeBron and the Lakers or Kevin Durant and Kyrie and the Nets. I want to see new blood. I want to see new blood. I want to see new people in the mix. Yeah, it's like, and I think the Heat are going to be formidable. The Heat are going to be really formidable. If the Bucks do get by the Celtics, the Heat are no joke. It's going to be a war for sure in the Eastern Conference Finals. Mavs and Bucks. Which card grading company should I go with on my 89 Hoops card for the price? Well, are you talking about for the price for resale, or are you talking about just grading price? And then also, are you looking to sell that, or is this just something you're putting into your PC? The Heat want the Bucks to get revenge for last year. Yeah. Well, and they probably don't mind that Middleton's not playing. So, they're like, okay, we'll take them. We'll take them, like a little bit shorthanded. Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I'm already ready for football season. Who's going to the National? Is anybody going to the National or anybody going to any local shows here coming up? I'm going to the Raleigh show in June. I think it's June 18th. So what is that like? That's about a month away. Yeah, so I've got the Raleigh show in about a month and then going to the National at the end of July. Trying to save my money and then have some money at the National. I want to make sure that I'm pretty well funded for the National. Nothing crazy. I'm not these guys that bring like $10,000, but it would be nice to have a few bucks. Yeah, PC. Here's the thing too with the grading companies. I know I'm going to give you kind of like a halfway answer, but the grading company, I feel like grading's about to get cheaper again here in a couple of months. So if it's PC, I would just wait, honestly. I would just wait a couple of months and then just see where they all are and then go from there. They're all getting kind of caught up on backlog and all that stuff. So, and there's the top four companies we're talking about, PSA or SGC, CSG, BGS, can't really go wrong. I mean, they're all good companies. So a lot of it's just preference, I think. Houston show. Nice. Is that a big show in Houston? I've only been to that Dallas show, the big Dallas show last May, about a year ago. Current live stream takeaways. Celtics in the finals. Landry has watched. I wasn't invited to Raleigh. Steve, come to Raleigh, man. Come to Raleigh. There's more people. It's a full house, but you can definitely come. Definitely come. That would be awesome, actually. It's June 18th weekend if you want to come in, roll down to that show. That would be fun. I'm going to be staying with Steve at the National. We're bunk beds, step brothers at the National. We will be there. Landry might be, and to be fair, Jarvis Landry might be a little bit washed, but at least he's not like our number one receiver. He's just kind of an added bonus at this point. Dominic, what's going on? Good to see you. The way things are going, Brad will probably get a Netflix deal and you will have to have your people call his people and do lunch. Probably. Well, Brad's really working the LA connections. I'll say that. He's in LA. He doesn't have a family. He's got no kids. Like the guy's got nothing better to do but go down and figure it out. So yeah, Brendan, you're probably right. And I hope that for him. I hope that for him/us. That would be a reason to keep him around. Grading prices definitely, I think I agree with that. They're not going up, right? I don't think grading prices are going up anytime soon. Card YOLO Jess. I don't know if I recognize you in the live, so thanks for joining. I just saw a preview of the CSG, the black label, the 10, like their new 10, the perfect 10, and that's a cool looking label. It's kind of like the BGS black label a little bit, but yeah, I like what CSG is doing. They're kind of sneaky They're doing some sneaky things, kind of some good stuff. I like it. And I collect graded comic books as well. So the whole CGC, CSG connection, I'm all for it. Solid company. All right. Yeah. Raleigh. What's hilarious is like 18 months ago, like if we're talking about before the pandemic and then after the pandemic, nobody went to that Raleigh show, like right after and then before. Raleigh show was very slow. Now there's literally people that are coming in from all over the place for this Raleigh show. It's wild. It's like, I remember walking in and it was like half, and it's not in a huge place, but literally like half of it was full. It was a struggle to make it look like there was any tables. And now it's like wall to wall, they're like spacing them out, at that Raleigh show. It's pretty cool. Have you seen card shows popping up in NC more, or just the ones you went to within the last year? Yeah, it's the same. So there's two pretty big promoters. It's not TriStar, but it's something like that. Or maybe it is TriStar. It's something like that. There's a couple big promoters in NC that have been doing shows, I believe, for a while. Maybe it is TriStar Productions, but they've been putting on good shows for a while. And they're in Hickory, North Carolina, Raleigh, Greensboro, and then there's a Charlotte show as well. But I think that's done by a separate group. But yeah, I would say I just don't take advantage enough. I'm kind of lazy in that sense to where I could go to some of these other, like the Hickory show and some of these other ones, but it's also like I've got kind of my monthly card budget, and it's just not like I spend it elsewhere, and then it's like, okay, am I going to drive an hour and a half to go to the show? So I end up just going to the Raleigh show, because the Raleigh show, honestly, it's like every couple of months. It's like every 2 months, 3 months tops, every couple of months. Watch you swim with, or you will take that bath, or I'll surf. Okay. Are we talking about Brad, Caleb? I just got back from a local show in Toronto. My God, did it suck. It reminded me of the pre-pandemic days. Interesting. Okay. I would think that Toronto would be pretty decent just because it's a big city. That's interesting to hear. Was that originally a big show, or was it just kind of one that popped up? Great guy and a locker room leader. Yeah, we're bringing all the LSU guys kind of like back. It's like Jarvis Landry, and then of course the Honey Badger. It's funny because the Saints, they always get crap for like not drafting LSU players or not picking up LSU players, and now we've got we're kind of like all the Louisiana guys are coming back. It's pretty cool. Lots of vintage, same company, been hosting for 20 plus years. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, I met those guys, rare edition, out at the Mint Collective. The thing is, and I've said it before, and actually I think that they're going to send me one as kind of like a promotion, just so I can look at it. Because I didn't buy one when I was there. They were just set up at Mint Collective just to kind of show you what they were working on. And it's like an iPhone case. It's like your card being inside of like an iPhone, setup. It's really, really sturdy stuff. They've gone out of their way to make. And I would say this is the best slab on the market as far as just the quality of the actual slab. Now, the grading, all that stuff, that's up for debate. That's the part where I had asked them, hey, are you going to do slabs or like slabs without grading? Would you sell the slab without any grading for PC cards or whatever, just for encapsulation purposes? And they said at this point, they're not doing that. But the presentation for those slabs is really, really nice. So I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm curious to see, because you've got 4 big companies vying for the grading, kind of that grading money, and for some of these other companies that are trying to come in and kind of make a name for themselves, the competition is tough. But man, there's companies that are really putting out some good stuff. So I'm rooting for them, because their product, like the actual product. Now the grading part, I don't know. I haven't seen how they grade or whatever. But the actual slab product is awesome from Rare Edition. Have you done anything with them, Purple Haze? Barely anyone there, and even the dealers weren't buying. Okay, yeah, weird, interesting. Oh, okay. They are ultra premium. I mean, when you I've held it in my hand, and it's when I was out there at Mint Collective, and it's just it's impressive. Like, I mean, that would be a slab. That's the type of slab that I would want, like a very expensive card in, that maybe I wasn't necessarily going to get graded, or maybe I have them graded and I just don't even really care. It's kind of more of like, I just want it in a really, really good quality slab. I mean, they've done stuff where, they throw in, like, I think they threw their slab underwater, for like a day or something, to test like water damage or any of that stuff. Oh, Dominic, sorry about that, man. There you go. Cheers. By the way, and I don't know if you actually are drinking beer, Dominic, but my mom had brought me, I was born in Bitburg, Germany. And in Bitburg, Germany, they make a beer called Bitburger beer, and it's a Pilsner. It is really, really good. If you're a fan of Pilsners, try to find Bitburgers. They're really good beer. I had a couple earlier. Very good. Just side note there, guys. Sidebar. PSA goes to 30 a card. It's rest in peace, SGC and CSG. Ironically, HGA will survive with custom labeled nonsense. BGS will never die because even if they did, nobody would know. That's funny. Bob, you know what? You might be right. I mean, you might be. You never know. I mean, I've said kind of similar things. It's either, I guess the part we have to see is, does PSA just kind of blow everybody out of the water once they've got the capacity to be able to do so? They've got no backlog. They're able to lower the prices. Or has the last kind of 12 to 18 months built enough brand loyalty to SGC, CSG, and some of the other companies? Because there are people that are so pissed about the 18-month wait on their PSA sub that they're not going to use them again. So I mean, there is a section of people that are those people that are not using PSA again. Now, there's also going to be a section of people that say that and then still go back to PSA. And then there's also a section of people that are going to be like, hey, you know what? I like the tuxes. I like SGC's tuxes. They're going to have brand loyalty. SGC is a company. I've talked with Peter. We've interviewed Peter before. He's just a solid, likable guy, runs a great company. They're going to stay in business because they've got a fan base. SGC's got a fan base. CSG kind of new to the game, but they've made strategic partnerships with eBay and PWCC where they've strategically worked their way in, and then they're again part of CGC, a larger grading company. I think there's room for everybody. Are the rare slabs on the edges polished metal, or are the sides plastic? Just curious, look like metal. I can't remember. There's a demo. I'll see if I can find it. Purple Haze. So they sent me a slab. I think it's actually in the PO box, and I'm going to do a video on it. So I will do a video on it, and I'll put it all the way up to the camera and read all the stuff, and we'll go through it. But I don't think there's any plastic on it at all. Okay, local show at the outskirts of Toronto, made a whopping total of 100. Oh, you set up. Okay, as a dealer. I got you. I took that drink. I took it. Beginning to worry more about recession. Do you think we will see prices start to drop soon or more? Yeah, I guess the thing that I'm watching, everyone's been talking a lot about the price drops in ultra modern. A lot of the stuff has gone down dramatically for the stuff that is more common. I guess the big question mark now is, what about the high end stuff, that upper mid tier and high end? Is that going to take a bath as well? And, if we're looking at just kind of like, I'm not like an economist, but I do a lot of research on it. And I do think that to some degree, those prices are going to come down. To what extent, for how long, all that, like, who knows? But it just feels like, and so here's the other part is they're going to do this dance. The Fed is going to do this dance where they're raising interest rates, but they don't want to do it too much because they don't want to hurt the economy too much, but so they're going to do that dance. Plus we have $30 trillion of debt where they're not going to raise. They have to be careful with that raising rates because it's also raising rates on our own debt. So it's not as if they can do what we did in the 1970s. I don't think they can. So I think it's going to be kind of they're going to do what they call it, the soft landing, so that's where I think that I don't necessarily agree there's going to be that massive, massive crash. I guess it could happen, but that's the reason why I don't think that the massive crash is coming, because I think that they're going to do it kind of steady. They're going to be careful. with it. It's not going to just be willy-nilly type thing. But we'll see, man. We will see. Bitburger, Augustiner. I don't know if I've ever had that. I don't think I have. Is that also a Pilsner? I've not done anything with rare, but makes sense for super expensive cards. $1 million and 40-cent slab. It kind of exactly what I mean. Yeah, it's like, do you care more about that it's a PSA 10? You know, it says PSA 10 on the label, or do you want it to be, do you want it to be safe? And that's a really interesting point that you're making. That also, that rare edition slab, that is not a slab that you are cracking and resubmitting somewhere else. Or if you are, you're doing it with a chainsaw or something. Maybe that would make a great YouTube video. Maybe that should be my rare edition. That maybe that should be my my video is cutting it with a chainsaw or something, or with one of those drillers. Because it's not going to be like, it's not like, so if you're someone that's like, oh, I got a 9, I want to crack it, resub it, you can do that dance with these companies, with the big 4. Can't really do that with the rare edition slab. Not the way, not that I can see anyway. Yep. I know you're over in Europe. How are things over in Europe, by the way? How are you guys doing? Hopefully not too crazy. With the world is a crazy place. SGC will survive just for the vintage card area, in my opinion. That's actually a really good point. SGC was dominant in vintage long before they ever did modern, ultra modern stuff. So even if people do move away from ultra modern with SGC, they have vintage people that will always be SGC people. I agree with that. The other moving part to that is, at what point does PSA create, if ever, some sort of tier for the registry people for PSA? People aren't going to pay $50 for vintage commons. They're not, obviously, and they're probably not going to pay $20 for vintage commons. There's going to have to be a tier of $8, $10 or whatever for registry folks. I'm sure it'll come eventually, but when? I don't know. What's going on, Jay? Good to see you. MTG Lion did a video about how the slabs are being bought from China and are from the same source as the legit grading companies. That's kind of the tricky part. Is it wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, I don't know if it's the same source, like the same factory, but I mean, if those things are all coming from China, then you could probably, if you're someone that has some wherewithal with all that stuff, if you're over there, especially doing business over in China, maybe you can kind of work that. I don't know. But that's, and again, I guess, playing devil's advocate with all that stuff, if it starts to get to be a bigger problem, that's where a company like a Rare Edition, where you're not really going to be able to do much with those slabs. Maybe that's where they gain traction. Maybe that's where they build out a niche. I don't know. If Rare sends you a card, it will be a $2 raw card in Gorilla Glass, what they sent. Oh, yeah. No. Well, look, I'm not expecting them to send me a Michael Jordan rookie inside one of their slabs. It's okay. It's not, it's just for me. And I didn't see Retro Hoops video on it. I'll have to go back and look for his, but I don't care. It's just to show what the slab looks like. I mean, no big deal. It's just to show kind of what their offering is. That's it. PSA could make me wait 6 years. They still have the best slabs. Fair enough. Now, are you talking about just aesthetically, like how they look, you like them, Michael, or actually the build of them, how they feel, like the whole bit? Fake yet real slabs. Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll see if they, I think that they're going to get some more of the security stuff right, to where you're able to scan, you're able to, I think that they're going to get the security stuff, especially with Nat Turner being a tech guy. It might take some time for them to get it all implemented, but I'm pretty certain that they'll have that figured out, that part. They're going to find a way, I think, to thwart a lot of those problems. I like the color slab company that just went under. Are we talking about HGA? But they didn't go under, though. They were just bought out. Is that who you're talking about? Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'll at least kind of show what it is. I like the people there too. They were nice people. They were, collectors, built it for collectors type thing. I'm a sucker for, startups as well. Like, I understand that a lot of startups are not going to make it. Most will not, frankly. Most startups will not make it. But when I see companies that are out there spending money to try something, I at least want to, show it, give it some sort of a, some exposure so that the hobby folks that do watch my channel, they can see it, decide for themselves. And that's it. But yeah, people that are actively trying to better the hobby, because let's face it. I mean, if we go back a few years, kind of before the boom, there has been a ton of innovation over the last few years that's been positive for really kind of a hobby that hasn't really done a whole lot, as far as that stuff goes. So I think that's all good. MTG Lion, one of my favorite people in the hobby. Amazing videos. In a couple of years, when basketball, football, baseball will be showing cards during the game, all these older cards will go up. That's a lot of the spec. A lot of the speculation is kind of this being more of a mainstream. How many of you in the chat are speculating that cards are going to continue to rise? Now, not meteoric, but just kind of rise-ish over time because it becomes more mainstream. I'd like to hear your thoughts. I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. Because I think that is, it's in a similar fashion to comic book collectors. They're watching what's the next Marvel show? What's the next Marvel movie? Who's the next villain? Who's the next, this, that, and whatever. They're paying attention to the rights for different things. It's kind of similar. A lot of this, it's all speculative stuff, speculative assets. But yeah, no, and I can see that. I can see that point. I mean, company like Fanatics doesn't come in and spend the money that they spent to just do a little. They're gonna put their. I think they're gonna give it their best shot. And I think it's gonna be serious business. Already is, but you know what I mean. Augustiner is one of the original Oktoberfest beers. It's lager. Okay, gotcha. If PSA was smart, they would offer an ultra premium slab for high end. Imagine the extra money. They make a couple hundred just for an extra slab. Fair. Yeah, they could do a whole lot of stuff, frankly. And I bet they will. I think that they will. I mean, I think that Nat Turner, my assumption is that his entire focus is just getting the backlog figured out and getting them to a place where they can handle capacity. And then I just have the feeling that there's going to be more innovations and more things coming down the line for PSA. I think it was just step one, get our business straight, get everything rolling, humming along. And they're not quite there yet, but they're getting close. They're getting close. Neo, don't use pop-up grading companies. Haven't we learned our lesson yet? Like I said, it's a niche thing. I did talk to them about the possibility of, just encapsulating without grading, but it's not always just about, the flip. Neo, it's not just about the flip, the mercenary, the grading mercenary, whatever you call yourself. I respect what you're saying about just using any random company, but I also don't think it's bad just to give a company a shot on a card or two, and also knowing what is the purpose of that for. Yeah, if you're flipping, then maybe you're only using certain companies. If you're PCing, maybe you're using this company, or maybe you'll give this new company a try or whatever. But I'm a little bit more open-minded. Neo is a Sith Lord. There's always two out there. Neo's one of them. Just kidding, Rob. Kidding. Europe is good. We just had a baby, and I'm a teacher. 5 new Ukrainian students. You're in Poland, aren't you? So you're getting a lot of Ukrainian folks coming over. We actually know people, friends that are taking in Ukrainians as well. Eurovision is on, which I guess is important. Okay. Congrats on the new baby. Boy or girl, Michael? If you want to share, you don't have to, but I've got 2 boys, 2 girls, and they're busy. They keep everything busy. This is why I'm doing the live stream. It's quiet for a second. Nobody will want vintage commons unless they're trying to build a set, in my opinion. Yeah, well, yeah, it's definitely set registry. That's it. And I guess, you do get a lot of pushback of, but the set registry for PSA, but how many people are actually using the PSA set registry outside of kind of those vintage folks that have been doing that for a while? I guess my main point is new people getting into the hobby. And if it goes mainstream, is the set registry really that big of a push for newer people? I would guess not. I don't know if there's a bunch of new set collectors. I could be wrong, but I don't know. I hear that all the time, but I think that valid for long-time hobby people, long-time collectors, not as much valid for the grand scope, in my opinion. Just my opinion, though. I think the same with Beckett. Some 80s card collectors will always see them as an established brand. Yeah, for sure. He's legend. He'll always have a place for sure. Dr. Beckett will always have a place. And his company, his magazines, all that stuff, it's always going to be he's going to be kind of one of those first, those pioneers for price guides, and that never goes away. So you're right. I don't think Beckett ever goes away, but hey, I never thought Kmart was going to go away either. And now they're only in New Zealand. I missed the blue light special. What the hell? MTG Lion plus Rudy equals my financial advising team. Kidding slightly. Rudy's awesome. Rudy is awesome. And he gets it. I've said it on here before. He gets it. Now, I don't know. Some people would say he's probably crazy to have 8 figures worth of Magic the Gathering cards. Some people would say he probably should have it elsewhere and blah, blah, blah. But he's not an idiot. He has money in other things. He has money in equities. He has money in real estate, all the other stuff. So I like his takes. And he's funny with all of his gobbledygook. Dustin, would you have a beer for my good friend who I lost on Friday morning? Best of luck to your Saints. Later. Mark, a.k.a. Gordman. Yeah, absolutely. I will, sending positive vibes. He's in our prayers. I will definitely be thinking about him. Going to be doing some hot tubbing. This is the pre-hot tub live. So it'll be a beer in the hot tub, sending positive vibes. Sorry to hear that, Mark. I like the look of BGS the best, but PSA slabs are just nice and sleek. Yeah, well, yeah, and best return on your investment, for sure. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't have anything against PSA slabs either. I mean, I own a lot of PSA slabs. I buy them, and I bought one last week. I get it. I totally get it. I think that there's so much nuance to everything, and so there's you can have different stuff for different stuff. I mean, I should coin that. You can have different stuff for different stuff. Trademark. Chiefs, Packers. Okay. Are the Packers going to be good this year? Is Aaron Rodgers going to get over the hump again, or is it just going to be in a 15-1 or 16-1 Packers team that's done after round one? I'm talking a little bit of smack, Jay, because I'm fired up about my Saints. I'm ready for the season. BGS slab is smaller but thicker than most slabs. Startups will slow down now. That's actually another good thing to watch. That's a good point. We've got kind of the economy tightening up a little bit. Looks like economy's tightening up. What's going to happen with all the new money coming in? Will it keep on coming? Because that's another thing too. Card pricing. There's so many different moving parts with it. Just because there's card prices have dropped down, it doesn't necessarily mean there's not amazing things going on in the hobby and different things. Because there's a lot of good stuff going on. There's a lot of money flying around. I think the cards will drop but rise again by 2027, 2028. Okay. Well, you're taking a 5 or 6 year lookout. So yeah. And I like it, David. You actually make a really good point, because half the people, and like more than half, frankly, most all, probably 99% aren't looking out that far. So good for you. Yeah, I guess that's going to be the thing is, are we going to always do this kind of dance? The U.S. economy didn't always used to do the, the huge volatile thing. Real estate used to grow at, like 2 to 3% a year. It's just so wild the way that it's been. But that's why you do have a lot of people that are calling for big crashes, because you've seen this happen. And then, it's like, it's got to come back. It's got to come back. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see what actually does happen. I guess that's the fun of watching it, right? My mom's side is Belgian, so I have a soft spot for Belgian beer. Fair enough. Fair enough. HGA, some of the slabs look pretty badass. They were color matched to the cards. I agree with I don't own any HGA slabs, but some of the look, definitely. I agree with that. Yeah, Jarvis Landry is a big one. That's a big one for us. Just because, we don't really know exactly what's going on with Michael Thomas. The assumption is he's ready to go week 1, but then it's like, yeah, but there might be some issues or whatever. So I'm a little nervous about it, to be honest. There's no guarantee that Michael Thomas is going to be ready. So having Jarvis Landry is just another target. It's exciting. Our defense is legit. And now the receiving core, which was absolutely decimated last year. I mean, our number 1 receiver was Marquez Callaway last year. Now he's our number 4 receiver. Just think of that. I wish that we had added Sony Michel. He ended up going to flipping Steve's Dolphins. I wish that we would add a running back, because I don't know what's going to happen with Kamara. If Kamara gets, 8 games or something, some long suspension, then it's like, okay, what are we doing at running back? Maybe we'll just have Jameis sling it 80 times a game. Oh, I appreciate that, Francesco. Dustin, I just want to commend you for never pumping your cards and bragging about your recent sales like some other people. You do YouTube right. I appreciate it. I do show kind of like buys, but yeah, I mean, I am looking at this from a long-term perspective with a lot of the stuff. I mean, am I going to take all of my cards to, are they going to be buried with me? Are they going to be throwing, cards on top of my coffin? No, except for 89 score football. I want Barry Sanders rookie cards around me. I want those around me. Actually, and I'm actually serious about that. I'm going to have some 89 score around me. That's going in the will. But outside of that, no. I mean, look, I have a long-term prognosis, but I'm a hybrid. I'm a collector / investor. I'm not as much of a flipper. I flip cards occasionally, but it's probably 10%. 10%. Will baby formula go up? Yeah. I tell you what, if you got in early on baby formula, you're doing pretty well right now. Baby formula has gone bonkers. Hey, cheers. Congrats, Michael. A girl, Sophia. Love the name. Healthy, happy, beautiful. Awesome, man. That is really, really great. And you stay safe over there in Poland. I'm, thinking about you guys. I've got my grandma's in England, my wife's family, a lot of family in Italy. And you guys are very close to all the stupidness that's going on over there. So I'm thinking about you and just, hope that it gets cleared up soon and, as safely as possible. I don't, whatever that looks like. It's crazy. Yeah, man. Congrats. The Belgians know beer. Dex with the $10 super chat. Thank you very much, buddy. I appreciate it. Thoughts of buying a box of 78 Star Wars. Feel like every card could be a hit as long. Is that first year Star Wars? Is that the bread company or, like the Luke Skywalker bread? Is it that set? I guess my question would just be, is that the first ever set of Star Wars, the 78 that you're talking about? Feel like every card could be a hit as long as it can grade a 10. Well, that's going to be tricky as long as it can grade a 10. Unlike with opening sports cards where there's only a handful of cards you hope to get. I understand your point about a lot of hits. That actually makes sense. My first question would be, is that the first ever set? And then secondly, the only thing that makes me nervous about that is like, as long as they can grade a 10. I would just say, like, it's more like, can you make money if they get an 8? And then are you looking to just like grade it, flip it, or are you going to hold on to that sucker for a while? I don't know. Lots of questions, but thank you very much for the super chat. And that's a cool, I mean, it's cool thought. Carolina's up 1-0 game 7. Yeah, there's hockey going on too. Hockey. Oh, I'm skip past comments. Okay, here we go. The brew houses, microbrews out now. There's a lot of great beers that aren't big companies. Yeah, I'm in Raleigh, in Raleigh, North Carolina area. There's a ton of great local breweries, loads of them. A lot of them are family friendly too. They've really done a lot of that stuff right. Sorry. Hey, Brian, sorry about that. I know I started off, I was fixing my toilet and I was late for the live stream and we're talking about beers and what's going on in Europe and new babies being born. I thought this was a sports show, my man. Can you describe your niche? Much thanks. So I collect a lot of different things, I would say. So I'll stick to sports cards because you're asking about that. I mainly focus on football cards. I do have basketball cards. I've got some baseball cards. I've got some Marvel cards, not sports. But I would say as far as sports goes for cards, my niche is football. And I've got a lot of 80s. I've got vintage. I've got kind of all-time great autos type stuff. This is just one that's on my desk. So like Flawless Namath. This is kind of my bread and butter type stuff. It's what I enjoy. Drew Brees is my PC in the New Orleans Saints. So like exquisite Marcus Colston. So that's kind of cool. It's like a quad patch auto. So yeah, my niche is probably football, I would say, but I don't really collect the brand new stuff. I don't buy into the brand new stuff. I've got kind of the legends that I buy. And then 80s type stuff, vintage, football is my niche, but then I buy a lot of other stuff and then a lot of other collectibles in general. So hopefully that's helpful. I've been holding on to mine for over 25 years, only sold 4 cards, and damn, with the wrong ones to sell. Yeah, that's always kind of the case, especially over the last couple of years. I guess if you timed it right and you sold like first quarter of 2021, you did well. But outside of that, it's like if we all knew that going in, I guess it wouldn't have happened, right? Bruins fan, I'm just happy Bruins and Celtics are both in Game 7. Distracts me from abysmal Red Sox season. Fair enough. Fair enough. The Celtics have a huge game tomorrow. I'll be watching that for sure. Yep. Germans, no beer. Germans, no beer. If you missed earlier in the live, try Bitburger Pilsner beer. I was born in Bitburg, Germany. That is the local beer. It is a premium Pilsner, says so right on the bottle, and it is a fantastic beer. New Zealand beer is good. Okay, Steinlager. Fair. Taysom Hill's going to be doing all of it, my man. He's going to be our tight end, but make no mistake, he'll be doing all sorts of stuff, all sorts of gadgetry. Taysom Hill will be doing. Tom Brady still has not beat us in the regular season. He beat us in the playoffs, which is, you could argue that's what mattered the most. So fair enough. But yeah, everyone keeps saying the Bucs, but we haven't lost to the Bucs in the regular season. Brady's 0-4 against us in the last 2 seasons. Yeah, but the Bucs will be tough. I mean, the Bucs are built to win, so they will be tough for sure. Brian Basketballs, I graded 54 cards with HGA, sold 23 of them to pay for the grading fees, sitting on the rest of them before. Crack out for PSA, all pre. Okay, yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, at least you got rid of 23 to pay, kind of just to make you whole on it. I have never graded with HGA. I don't own any HGA cards. Mariota will start over Winston, or else I don't think the Saints will win more than 9 games. Oh, well, Mariota is a Falcon. We actually faced the Falcons week 1, so we'll be facing Mariota, assuming I guess he wins a starting job in training camp. I guess he's the. I think there's another guy that's going to compete with him. Winston will be fine. I guess the other thing is he's not learning a brand new offense because Pete Carmichael's still the offensive coordinator. So Sean Payton's not there, but it's kind of Sean Payton's offense still. It's just going to be Pete Carmichael calling the plays and then also probably tweaking a few things. That's really it. But Carmichael's called a lot of games for us, and he's solid. So it's not a brand new offense. Celtics Bucks Game 7, big time. Yep, Tatum Giannis, big time stuff. That's right. Yeah, if 89 score Barry Sanders cards go to the moon, yeah, exactly. There's gonna be some grave diggers out there, and probably all in my own family. My own family will be digging. The tops. Yeah, I just don't know. You're talking about that Star Wars set 78. I just don't know. The guy to talk to about that, Dex, is Flippin' Steve. Steve knows those sets, those kind of vintage sets. He's got a few of those. 77 was the first set. Okay. Yeah, maybe chat can help. Yeah, Asheville has great breweries. Yep, they do. Yeah, North Carolina's got some good options. I'm a Dallas fan. I know everyone hates us. Thoughts on Big D this year? Thanks. Well, I read that they pulled the easiest schedule based on last year's records, which to me doesn't really mean a whole lot because you'll have teams that were terrible last year that'll be great this year and vice versa. So, but there was that. I guess you can take that. I mean, maybe that's helpful if it's not a good, the schedule kind of leans in your favor, but you just never know with that. Like there's so much parity in the NFL that really doesn't mean anything, to me anyway. I saw the Rams pulled the toughest schedule, but it's based on last year. I mean, a lot can change in a year in the NFL. We know that. No long-term speculation on digital assets. Yes. Yeah. I've got digital assets. Yep. I've got crypto. I've got NBA Top Shot, and I've got NFL all day. So, and I just want to sit on them. I don't have any plans to do anything with them. Yeah. I did sell off some Top Shot, a while back, but I mean, outside of that, I think I've got 300 moments, 250, 300 moments. I'm going to sit on those. Yeah. And you're talking about digital assets. I don't know if you're also talking about NFTs. I don't have any NFTs outside of those NFTs, those sports NFTs. If you're talking about cryptocurrency, I also have crypto. So if you mean like digital assets like that, yep. I'm long-term on some of that stuff for sure. Winston can look really good and really bad. He isn't. You're right. He is. He's inconsistent. He is. I guess the thing is, I hope that kind of the team is good enough to where we're not having to lean on him to do too much. It's also, the offense needs to be kind of geared a certain way to favor what he's doing, as opposed to having him throw it 40 times a game, like we would have Drew Brees do. Nah, we don't want to do that. He doesn't need to be throwing the ball 40 times a game. We need to be more of kind of a power running team that throws deep, kind of brings the defense up, and then Jameis throws 60-yard bombs over the top. That's kind of what we want. That's what I think we should be, but we'll see. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up here in, let's say, 5 minutes. Yeah, 5 minutes. Okay. If Winston starts 16, 17 games this year, does he lead NFL in INTs? Maybe. He might. The only thing I care about is if Winston leads the league and wins. So I don't care if he throws picks. I just want it to be, not too many to where we still win the game. No, and the thing is where Jameis is great is he throws a really precise deep ball, which is not easy to do in the NFL. But where he struggles is those middle routes, like that 15, 20 yard, even like 10 to 20 yards, he'll throw errant passes. And actually that's what he said he's been working on. So if he can clean that up and just throw accurate kind of those mid-level passes, that's really kind of what he's got to clean up. I will be in Raleigh for my next card show, Raleigh, June 18th. And then I'll be at the National at the end of July. Those are the two shows that I've got on the docket. Since you're into sports card collecting, does your wife collect anything? That's actually a really good question. She's not really a big collector. But you know what? She holds on to, so she has, certain items that are really important to her that like she's got a nice watch. She's got like certain things that are more of kind of like long-term holds that she has. She likes, to have like a few like nice things as opposed to having a lot of smaller things, so I would say that's kind of more of her mindset. She's an investor though, for sure. She's an investor. So she's collecting, all the, stocks, bonds, real estate, all that's, she's a collector in that sense. But as far as like, cards or comics or anything like that, she grew up in Italy so she does not have that US nostalgia, pop culture, that we have from the 80s, 90s. She remembers, it's funny, I brought up Panini and she's like, oh, Panini, like that's an Italian company. They make stickers. Like we used to collect soccer stickers in Italy. So she did collect soccer stickers. She's a soccer fan, international soccer fan, but yeah, she doesn't have anything that she like collects, day to day, like I do. But she supports, like she went to the National and had a blast. She was helping me pick out cards. She actually, do I have it sitting here? Oh, dang it. I don't have the card. She picked out a few cards for me at the National. So she enjoys kind of the camaraderie and the, and all that comes with this. She likes it. She likes it for me. And then, she also likes to be a part of it too. National will be a good gauge of where things stand economically re the hobby. Yeah. And that's part of the reason, honestly, Michael, where I'm trying to save money for the National, because I think the National could be a really good buying opportunity. I don't know where prices will be, but I just don't think that prices are going to be that much higher at the end of July, so, and the National just happens to be where you have the largest show probably in the world, annually. And so you've got all the options, you've got all the vintage options, you've got all the modern, you've got the non-sports, you've got all the ultra, you've got like, it's all there. So it's just a matter of, picking your spots and will there be any sort of buys, and so I like to, the one thing I don't want to happen is like go with, $100 to the National and then 5 minutes I'm out of money and I'm just looking around at all the stuff that's available. So yeah, I'm just trying to figure that out. My favorite card that I own is, I don't have it in front of me. It's a Breeze Flawless 100 years. It's a 1 of 1. It's the black box Panini from the National last year. I like it because it was that first National I've ever been to. It was, post-pandemic, got to meet a lot of hobby friends. And I picked that card up at the show, obviously, because it was from that show. So right now that's my favorite card. That could change over time. Another one of my favorite cards is one I just showed. It's that quad exquisite It's got Breeze. Marcus Colston's one of my favorite receivers for the Saints. The quiet thunder, quiet lightning, or whatever. I forgot his nickname, but I like Marcus Colston because he is, one of those guys, super humble. He just dominated everybody and didn't say a word about it. Just killed you without saying anything. He's not cocky. He just destroyed you and then walked off the field. I just that's great. So that Exquisite's one of my favorite. I collect, and also going back to I had the question about what is my niche. I collect a lot of all-time great autos. I'm just picking up stuff that's on my desk. So like Jerry West, National Treasures. Let me grab. This is another one of my favorites. This is a cutout, but it's Nolan Ryan. And then he inscribed, all of his strikeouts, 5,714. And then he's wearing the bloody shirt where Bo Jackson actually hit a line drive to his face and he was bleeding and he finished the game. Nolan Ryan, the true Iron Man of baseball. No offense to Cal Ripken Jr., but Nolan Ryan was just an animal. So those are the kind of cards that I like to collect, is kind of those legendary patch autos or just autos. And I do like rookie cards. And I like other things, but I've been on certainly a kick, for all-timers. For the Cowboys fan, I forgot who said that they're a Cowboys fan. Troy Aikman, numbered out of 100. Is this one National Treasures? No, it's SP Authentic. The one thing I like about football greats is this card. I think I got this card for maybe $100. It's SP Authentic. It's signed. It's out of 100. It was already graded. Football stuff is very affordable in comparison to some of the other stuff. Let's see, do I have anything else here? It's another Namath that I picked up. So this is kind of a rare insert Namath. 2001 Donruss, Passing the Torch. It's numbered out of 100. So it's a rare insert. This is pack pulled, so it's not a aftermarket signature. It's pack pulled. That's the type of stuff that I really like. I really like that stuff. I'm not going to London this year, but my grandmother lives about an hour from London. So it's something where I've thought about could we swing that? But I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. I am going to go to, so they play at Baltimore, at Philly, and those are both options. Although my wife and I went to Baltimore. So my wife and I went to Baltimore 2 years ago, pre-pandemic, to watch a game. And so the Ravens were beating the Saints by 2 touchdowns, and everybody was heckling us. The Ravens stadium they're just going ballistic. It's all Ravens fans. We're the only Saints fans there. Everyone in our rows yelling at us, get out of here, losers. The Saints come back in the second half, and then Justin Tucker misses the extra point, and we win the game. Justin Tucker doesn't miss anything, let alone an extra point. So my wife and I just literally ran out of that stadium because we were we're about to get beat down. Everybody was so upset because they were winning the game, and then they literally, we came all the way back, and then they missed the extra point. We won the game. So I think, but here the thing is though, it's if I don't go to that at Ravens game, then it's I'm going to Philly. Their fans aren't any better. I've also been to an Eagles game at Eagles Stadium, and their fans are the same. So it's I'm on the East Coast, so I try to go to those, those East Coast, those East Coast games where we can drive to. If it's a Washington game, or if it's somewhere Jacksonville or something, I'll try to go to games like that. I am going to go to New Orleans this year, though. I haven't been back since the pandemic, and we're going to go to New Orleans this year for a game. So I'm still trying to decide which one that's going to be. Fortunately, we play the Panthers every year in Charlotte, which is 2 hours away. So that's kind of nice. And their fans are pretty laid back for the most part. Sorry, my dog is barking a little bit in the background. I don't know if the fam is getting back home here soon. I know I'm going past time. All right, let me just run through these real quick. Barry Sanders rookie, Aikman rookie, 89 Upper Deck Griffey, playoff ticket Manning. Oh, those are the ones you sold. Okay, I got you. Yeah. Playoff ticket Peyton Manning auto rookie. Yeah. Sorry, man. Don't eat the last slice of pizza when you go with Flippin' Steve to the National. Last guy that tried that pulled back a nub. Yeah. Yeah, that is really funny. Bitburger is a good Pilsner. I like Winstofener, their wheat beer. So I'm partial to Bitburger because I was born there. I shouldn't say I'm from there because I was only born there. My dad was in the Air Force. So born there, and then we moved to England, and, but so it's not like it's my hometown or anything, but But yeah, I'll have to try some of these other ones you guys are talking about. Agreed. Yep. Cards over casinos. Trade market. Cards over casinos. Agree with you. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. That's just some of the stuff, but that's the stuff I really kind of like. And if I can find that stuff at a value, or I feel like it's a value, then I go after it. Hey, thanks, Theron. I appreciate that. I appreciate it. My best NASCAR auto. I don't have it in front of me. Well, here's one of them. It's kind of a cool auto. I mean, I wouldn't say I like Richard Petty's auto. I also like Dale Earnhardt Sr.'s auto, but Danica has just kind of a clean Danica auto. It's just Danica, but it's just a nice, clean auto. So you're saying like best NASCAR auto. I don't know if you mean like most expensive or what. To be honest with you, NASCAR autos are not very expensive. None of them are very, very expensive. So if you're into NASCAR, there's opportunities. Oh, one more I'll show too, because it's one of my all-time favorites. One of my all-time favorite players cut short from injury, Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson, and this one is exquisite endorsements. It's my only Bo Jackson auto, but that's another example of just kind of the all-timers. All right, guys, I am going to run. I appreciate it. Oh, yeah. Okay, Hoffman. Hoff Van Dam. I was born in Bath, UK, and lived on an Air Force base too. That's awesome, man. All right, guys, thanks very much for joining me again on a Saturday. I appreciate you. Have a great rest of your day, guys. I'll talk to you later. See you next time.